At this time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for 6 p.m. Tuesday, December the 20th, 2022, in the city council chambers, 201 East Nash Street, Terrell, Texas. We have in the chambers with us this evening, District 2, Grady Simpson, District 3, Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, Andrea Reese, and absent but excused is District 4, Stephanie Holmes Thomas. Grady, would you please lead us in invocation? If you would, please stand, remain standing for the pledges.
Bow our heads, please. Father God, we give you thanks for this beautiful day. We thank you for the challenges that has made us stronger and wiser. We ask that you continue to guide us, continue to help Terrell and all the county, Kaufman County, and all the state and the nations. Help us all to finally be unified and come together and do your will. All in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
She's fine. She's fine. The mayor says she's fine. She's fine. Trust me.
It's all right.
She's going to be okay. Well, next on the agenda is the mayor and council community recognition and events. First of all, I'd like to thank the Terrell Fire Department for all the effort that went into having the ride around Santa with the lit fire trucks. I got to see firsthand last night. Our residents come out and the kids enjoy, so thank you for all of that. Does anybody else, before I continue, have any recognitions? All right. Most of you know that when I was younger, I worked for Herschel Chaddock at his gun shop. He was very special to me, and Mrs. Chaddock is here with us as well, and their family, and all of you are very special to the mayor. But if any of you know the movie White Christmas, and the moment when General Waverly was asked to wear his uniform, and unbeknownst to him, he was actually the one everyone was gathering for. So we are going to get to share in one of those moments. If Logan Alamo Smith would please come forward to the podium. Please come to the... Logan is a former resident, former football player, baseball player. So, surprise, this is the mayor and your family recognizing you. When I found out that you were doing a flyover for the San Francisco game, I thought we're going to have to bring you here and recognize you. So thank you to the Chaddock family for getting him here. So this is from the office of the mayor of the city of Terrell. It's a proclamation, and it reads, whereas Logan Smith is a 2009 graduate of Terrell High School, where he was the quarterback and a member of the baseball team, and whereas Logan married Hayden Neely in 2014, and whereas Logan and Hayden have 3 children, Cooper, Charlie, and Piper, and whereas Logan is an undergraduate pilot training from, was in undergraduate pilot training from 2015 to 2016 in Del Rio, Texas, and whereas Logan completed initial fighter fundamentals in 2017 in San Antonio, and whereas Logan completed initial F-115C fighter training unit 2017 in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and whereas Logan was stationed in Okinawa, Japan from 2018 to 2021 at the 67th Fighter Squadron, and whereas Logan returned as an instructor for the F-15C Fighter Training Unit in 2021, and whereas Logan went to weapons instructor course, the equivalent version of Top Gun in the Air Force, for 6 months in Las Vegas in 2012, the WIC, and whereas Captain Smith currently serves as weapons officer at the F-15C FTU at Klamath Falls, Oregon, whereas Logan led a pack of F-15 fighter jets in a flyover of the San Francisco Stadium during the December 4th Miami Dolphins-San Francisco 49ers game. And whereas the pilots landed in an airfield 10 miles away and then were taken to the stadium to watch the game, and whereas Logan and his team of pilots were later brought out onto the field and introduced to the crowd, now therefore I, Rick Carmona, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, and on behalf of the Terrell City Council, do hereby proclaim December the 20th of 2022 as Captain Logan Alamo Smith Day in the city of Terrell, and ask all citizens to join me in honoring this Terrell High School graduate for his many accomplishments as a member of America's armed forces, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the corporate seal of the city of Terrell to be affixed this the 20th day of December of 2022, and signed Mayor Carmona. So congratulations, Logan. Yeah, if you'd like to say any words, you can get on your family then.
Well, first off, thanks for the surprise, guys. Used to being in the shadow of Herschel Chaddock, so I was excited to be here. But thank you so much to everyone up here, and thank you for your support. And it was a proud moment just to represent Terrell, so thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Really appreciate it.
Congratulations. We're going to take a photo.
Mayor, no. Are you looking for a pen?
Right here.
Thank y'all very much for being
Thank you. Thank you.
Always honor an Eagle driver. He's an Eagle.
So, as we wait for Allison to bring those, we're going to continue with our meeting. Hear remarks from visitors. Do we have any, Dora? We also have a leadership class, I see, that's here. If you're here with the leadership class, please raise your hand. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all picked a great meeting to attend because this is going to be short. Yes? Oh, if you, should we give it to them? Yeah. So at this time, we'll move on to item 6.1, discuss and consider minutes of the regular city council meeting on December the 13th of 2022. If you've had a chance to review them, please, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the regular city council meeting minutes from December 13th of 2022 as presented.
Second. We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Andrea Reese, District 5. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is a public hearing. Greg, would you please read into the
Yes,
record?
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we are to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding voluntary annexation proceedings to enlarge and extend the boundary limits of the city to include certain property consisting of approximately 607.362 acres of land situated in the M.T. Jones Survey, abstract number 259, the J. Eaton Survey, abstract number 147, the E. Spivey Survey, abstract number 495, the T.A. Waldrop Survey, abstract number 597, the J.H. Randall Survey, abstract number 422, the T.F. Smith Survey, abstract number 493, the W.C. Moody Survey, abstract number 321, the L. Pierce Survey, abstract number 373, the W. Bowles Survey, abstract number 55, the J.B. White Survey, abstract number 580, and the D. Harris Survey, abstract number 199, Kaufman County, Texas.
All right, Mike.
So Mayor and Council, I'm going to refer you to agenda item page 17. That shows the map of the 607 approximately acres that are being annexed tonight. This comes on a voluntary annexation request. You've reviewed the petition to this previously, had a lot of discussions about this over the last many months. I will tell you it represents a great partnership success for the city of Terrell. We worked quite a bit with two folks who are in the audience tonight, Dustin Davidson and Angela Hines. They've been great partners to work with a company called Hines. You've seen them present to you. And we're just proud that we could land this machine here. Earlier today, or earlier this week, I would say, both the mayor and the representative from Hines signed the development agreement that we approved at a previous meeting. That clears the way for us to move forward and do this annexation tonight. For reference, and also because we have a county commissioner, Mike Hunt, in the audience, I will tell you that we could not have done this without county participation. This is one of three projects that we based our creation of three new tax increment refinance zones on, and this is exactly the land use and exactly the development agreement deal when we presented this to the county. So this blue area up here is tax increment refinance zone number 4. The purple is zone 1. Two and zone 3. So the area we're talking about is right up here, roughly at the corner of Spur 557 and US 8. And so that's the zone of land that we're talking about here. You can also pick it up on this map. I'll kind of hold this up a little bit closer. I had this printed with the school district boundary on it because I always am mindful that when we have these opportunities to annex, we're actually able to help our school district by being the public authority of record for the construction of new homes and the policing of everything in those neighborhoods whenever they're within our city limits. So here's the North Spur development right here. This is the one we're talking about now. Later on in the meeting, we'll talk about this one down here that's the Centurion development as well. So just another shot right there about where we're talking about. So again, it's a voluntary annexation. There's about, Angela, I'm going to say there's probably about 100 pages in that development agreement that describe all the details of it. And again, just happy to move it forward with you. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions? All right, this is a public hearing, so at this time, we will open the public hearing to receive comments on this voluntary annexation. Does anybody wish to speak? All right, at this time, we'll go ahead and close our public hearing. Council, we reviewed this. Our next item on the agenda is 7.2. Greg, would you please read into the record?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 2948, an ordinance of the city of Terrell, Texas, annexing the hereinafter described property to the city of Terrell, Texas, and extending the boundary limits of said city so as to include the hereinafter described property within the corporate limits of the city of Terrell, Texas, granting to all the inhabitants of said property all the rights and privileges of other citizens, binding said inhabitants by all of the acts, ordinances, resolutions, and regulations of said city, adopting the municipal services agreement, providing for changes to the official map of the city, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date.
All right, Mike.
So again, Mayor and Council, it's a voluntary annexation. I will say that that TERS package I mentioned, this being one of those three packages, if we had those developing outside the city limits, the authority of the three combined tax or zones for annexation, this is just one of them tonight, but the combined land use authority they had unregulated outside of our ETJ or outside of our city limits in our ETJ was a total of 10,000 new household units. Because of the cooperation with the county and because of these voluntary annexations, we're able to reduce that to 5,000. We're able to build Los Lomas Parkway. We're able to build the outer loop. We're able to build brand new public infrastructure that's very beneficial to the city and the county. And we're also able to bring forward many more acres dedicated to jobs and employment in the city of Terrell. So great win for us, great partnership with the county. And again, happy to answer any questions about this annexation.
Yeah, I do, too, Council, want to thank Angela Hunt and the Hines Corporation for working with the city, the county, and their involvement in all of this. the negotiations that go on whenever we have new development in and around the city of Terrell, if everybody's not on the same page, it makes things very, very difficult as we grow. So I want to thank all the partners, everybody involved, because it's never an easy process, but we do manage to get through that, and it's a give and take on both sides. So thank you, Commissioner, for your help at the county level, and Angela, thank you for all your work. We've looked at this, we reviewed this. I'm glad that we're finally here. This is 3 years in the making now. So we're at a point now where we can move on. So anybody have any comments or questions for Mr. Sims?
Mayor, I'd just like to say, I was really concerned about the collaboration process and how that was going to come about. So I'm just thrilled to see this, because I remember when all this came into fruition, and just to see it finally get here. I just want to thank everyone, as the mayor said, who was involved.
Okay. So this is a ordinance number 2948 for consideration. Is there a motion?
May I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2948?
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Andrea Reese, District 5, to approve ordinance number 2948 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 7.3, public hearing. Greg, would you please read that into the record?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, we are to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a planned development, PD 22-02, single-family retail and research and technology park, PD SF-R-RT, base zoning on 700.41 acres of land, City of Terrell, ETJ, Kaufman County, Texas. The property is located north of US Highway 80 at the intersection with Spur 557, generally between High Point Creek floodplain on the west and Terry Creek on the east, extending generally to County Road 239A to the north. The property is currently in the City of Terrell, ETJ. The property will be developed into single-family residential, commercial, and industrial uses.
Thank you, Greg. Mike?
So, Mayor and Council, I think a handful of the major things to point out here is that your Planning and Zoning Commission received a presentation on this back in the summer. They voted yes to recommend it unanimously, contingent upon the successful negotiation of an annexation development agreement. Now that that process has been completed and now that it's been annexed, we did line this public hearing up tonight in anticipation that you would pass the previous item. So here we have the next step, which is the application of zoning to this piece of land. Ordinance 2949, as Greg mentioned, starts off on agenda item page 55 and runs from there. There are quite a few attachments to it, and I can report again to Commissioner Hunt here. It has the exact numbers that we mentioned to the county in terms of the land use authority here. So there's 531 allowable residential units, a handful more that they are allowed to develop in case the outer loop doesn't go through that property. And then there's a light industrial portion, and then two sections right up against US 80 that allow for about 40 acres of new retail development. So an awesome opportunity for us. This also preserves our land for the Big Brushy Creek Nature Preserve, so wonderful, good step there. And again, we appreciate the teamwork that was all here to make it happen.
Thank you, Mike. Again, this is a public hearing, so at this time, we will open a public hearing to receive comments regarding the planned development PD 22-02. Is there anyone here to speak for or against? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to item 7.4. Greg?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 2949, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification on certain real property as shown on the survey attached hereto as Exhibit A2 and made a part hereof for all purposes from agricultural, AG, to planned development, PD, under the terms and conditions specified in Exhibits B, C, D, and E, copies of which are attached hereto and made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for severability and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Greg. Mike?
So, again, Mayor and Council, just for point of clarification, we're annexing about 607 acres. There was about 92 acres of this property already within the city limits. That's the old racetrack property that they acquired as part of the negotiations with us. So you're actually zoning about 700 acres of land. Annexing 607, zoning 700 due to the portion that was already within the city limits.
Again, this is something that we've discussed in previous council meetings. Our zoning commission did vote unanimously yes on this project. Is that correct? All right. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Mr. Sims? Hearing none, is there a motion on 7.4?
Motion to approve item 7.4 as presented.
Have a motion, second? Is there a second?
Well, I thought,
No.
I thought Andrea did.
Did you? I didn't hear you. Did you?
Yeah, I think
She
we did
did.
at the same time.
Oh, okay, I'm so, man, I'm going deaf up here, man. All right, so I have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3. I have a second from Andrea Reese, District 5, to approve ordinance number 2949 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.1. This is to discuss and consider resolution number 2050, the resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving the development agreement between the City of Terrell, Texas, and Terrell 1098 LLC, authorizing the city manager or his designee to negotiate and the mayor to execute the development agreement and any other documents necessary in establishing an effective date. Mr. Sims.
So Mayor and Council, this time we're going to be on agenda item page 88. A little summary of this project for you. We're a little behind the North Spur project on this one. This time around, we're just working on the development agreement side of it. So this project's been to the county for approval through the creation of TERS number 2. This one's been to the EDC for funding related to one of the water line improvements. And this project has been through your Planning and Zoning Commission. In each case, those votes were unanimous. And so now what we're doing is trying to wrap up the development agreement. On the development agreement side of it, it's a fairly straightforward discussion. Again, agenda item page 88 is where we are, Dora. And that's a voluntary annexation of 1098 acres. The developer is acquiring an additional 10 acres also to be annexed. This time around, they're reserving 240 feet for the outer loop due to the configuration of the outer loop in that area. They will be expanding FM 148 at their expense to 4 lanes, and they'll be extending Los Lomas Parkway down to the south end of the project. Remember, Los Lomas is the road that will eventually, on the west side of Terrell, go from FM 2578 through Centurion's project, which is this one, through the Eastland Business Park area, and then crossing US 80 and crossing all the way up to roughly the corner of 205 and Griffith. So that's a western bypass for us. Will there be a bridge over the railroad tracks? That's an incredibly important project, and this builds the southern portion of that Los Lomas Parkway project. They'll be doing it not with a WCID or a MUD. This time they'll be using a public improvement district, and again, TERS number 2. We're setting aside 80% of our tax increment from M&O only on non-residential portions, 60% of the M&O only on residential portions. That allows us to keep all of the INS tax rate for the city of Terrell. And then the county contributes as well a portion of their M&O increment. And a portion of the M&O increment from the county is also kept by the TERS to do associated projects nearby, public projects nearby. 279 acres of light industrial, commercial, and retail uses. This time they've got 2,390 single-family homes, 5 different lot sizes, 40-foot lots, 50-foot lots, 60-foot lots, 70-foot lots, and half-acre lots. And then there are 630 apartment units on 35 acres. One of the advantages of that is that this is another one of those communities that we've been trying to work on here in the city of Terrell, where we welcome the diversity of housing, all living in one walkable neighborhood. We've got one of those up on the north side of town, where we've got lots of different income ranges, all within one walkable area, all sharing the same city park. In this case, there's the dedication of land for an elementary school, because this is large enough for that. And we think that's a great thing as well. Obviously, they're also doing the fire station. We've talked about that before. Water, on-site sewer, drainage improvements, and then again, they do get some help from our EDC in the construction of a 24-inch water line that will get down to that property. Our schedule on this one, just to clarify that, today we just approved the resolutions. So there's two resolutions we're going to talk about today. One is to allow me to finalize the negotiations associated with the project and the mayor to execute those. And then the other part of it is to publish the newspaper notices. So those are the two items we're talking about tonight. January 10th, we'll have those public hearings and first reading on annexation and zoning. And the developer will actually be here at that time. January 17th is the second reading on annexation and zoning for the Arboretum Estates project. There's a lengthy presentation in here from Centurion America on the project. I am just not going to go through all of that for you tonight, other than to take you to agenda item page 99. Agenda item page 99 shows you the concept plan and the phasing of that concept plan. So you can see south of Interstate 20, just south of the FM 148 Rodeo Arena. And it runs along the drainage that is part of a branch of Brushy Creek. And then you can see Los Lomas Boulevard going through there. The phases that are associated with the smaller lot development, generally on the west side of Los Lomas Boulevard, and then those half-acre lots right up against the nature preserve. So we think a great project for us, and very much looking forward to that Arboretum Estates project moving on. So with that, I'll flip you over to the resolution. Resolution is fairly standard for the way that we've been doing these over the last couple of years. Resolution 2050, again, allowing me to negotiate and the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Terrell, also involving the EDC and Terrell 1098. And that's just the LLC name Centurion is using for this particular development. And then section 3 is the authorization that a calculated portion of the tax increment reinvestment zone number 2 funds generated solely from within the identified 1,098 acre boundary of Arboretum Estates be paid to Arboretum Estates as reimbursement for the project costs as set forth in the development agreement. So we've seen this again several different times, not quite as far along, but by January we hope to be about as far along as we did on North Spur tonight, and this is preparing us for those votes in January.
Yep, so we're just in the process, steps, getting to where we need to get these things rolling. But what it'll allow us to do is have inventory of homes that we currently don't have, amenities that we don't have. So this is a good project, in my opinion. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Mr. Sims? Thank you, Mike. So this is a discuss and consider on resolution 2050. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 2050 as presented.
Is there a second? We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Grady Simpson, District 2, to approve resolution number 2050 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.2. Greg, would you please read in?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We bring to you tonight, if I can clear my throat, resolution number 2051, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, setting a date, time, and location for a public hearing on a proposed voluntary annexation of approximately 1,098 acres of real property located within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city as set forth on the attached Exhibit A authorizing and directing the city secretary to publish notice of such public hearing, authorizing a description of the property to be annexed, and directing notice of proposed annexation to the affected property owners.
All right, Mike?
So I'll mention a couple of things that happen upon annexation that are very important for everybody to understand. One is that that's a transition of responsibility from the county to the city. So by annexing, we're accepting responsibility to do the police work, to do the fire work, to make sure that code enforcement is involved, to make sure that all of these residents have the parks and the water quality and everything else associated with city services in a high-quality manner. When that is the county's responsibility, they don't have all the skill set necessary for that because state law doesn't allow them to, okay? So you don't get the same sort of police work, you don't get the same sort of land use control. The developer coming in and voluntarily accepting this, that's a great model for us because that means we're doing this in partnership and we're going to be able to have some controls over time. Another thing I want to mention is that it also means that this property will change in the near future from being in the Rose Hill Special Utility District, CCN, to being in the City of Terrell, CCN. This allows us to begin that process of decertifying that area, and we've been very clear that as we move forward in this annexation process, we will decertify from Rose Hill and over to City of Terrell water supply in this area. So that's an important one as well. And then also, all of these are notices out to the public, adjacent landowners, that sort of thing. And one of the things I want to mention to you is that there have been concerns from some of the adjacent property owners. There's some nice homes just to the south of this project that have said, hey, wait a minute, what are we doing with drainage off of this? That's a very important issue that we're very mindful of. This isn't the drainage design step. This is the, are we going to be under county rules or are we going to be under city rules step? We think it's important to us and advantageous to us to put it into this zone so that we can make sure that it's our engineering department that makes sure not only that we do the design of the drainage correctly, but also that we do the inspections on it. Sometimes when we plat property that's in a ETJ area, it's one thing for us to stamp the plans and say, yep, that's a good construction plat, move forward, but it's another thing to police the construction of those drainage facilities. This allows us to do both of those things, and I think that'll be highly beneficial for the adjacent residents. But that's many months away. This step just says who should be the controlling authority for that type of work. And again, a voluntary annexation, the developer came forward and said, hey, we realize that we have rights to develop outside the city limits. Again, this is part of the package that we reduced from 10,000 household units down to 5,000 household units. They came forward as part of these negotiations and said they were willing to do that, and moving 1,100 acres of land into the city limits is a good step forward for us. So happy to answer any questions about that.
Thank you, Mike. I'm glad that you brought up the drainage issue. The drainage issue isn't just an issue for Kaufman County, but it's statewide. I hear it from a lot of different county judges on the COG about issues in and around the Dallas and Fort Worth area. So that's just one of the positive things. The other thing is that we're going to be the city of record on the CCN, right? So if you're inside the city limits, you should be buying water from the city of Terrell. That's my position on it. Somebody have any comments or questions for Mr. Sims? Okay. This is a discuss and consider item. This is resolution number 2051. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept Resolution 2051.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Andrea Reese, District 5, and a second from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, to approve resolution number 2051 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a unanimous vote of those present. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. You have something, Mike?
I'm just going to say I want to do the same thing. We've got a lot of dedicated staff that put a lot of work into this. Our special projects consultant, John Godwin's been living these two projects for quite some time. engineering staff, municipal development staff. We've got a lot of dedicated folks up in the front office. Dawn Style, I think, is watching us on remotely tonight. We thank her for all her hard work. So again, I just really want to take a moment to thank staff, because we got a really great complement of everybody from even the city attorneys are really, it's hard to say nice things about attorneys, but even the city attorneys work hard. So anyway, Merry Christmas to all the staff, and thank you, Mayor, for your help tonight.
Yeah, so I too want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. As we wind down this year of 2022 and we prepare ourselves for 2023, our sesquicentennial year, which is going to be very busy. I'm going to warn the council right up front that I can't think of a better community than this community, as far as everybody coming together, being on the same page and working hard and making sure that we do the right things the right way, proper way, from legal all the way down. What a great organization, Mike. Thank you for your hard work, and thanks city staff for everything that y'all do. Allison, Dora, Don, and Omira, you know, Steve. Just, I could go on and go on and on about people, Chris, everybody that works here with the city. Chris is new, right? But look, we have to keep this momentum continuing. We need to stay focused. And I know with all of the things that are going on nationally, we are different, and we do things differently here in Terrell, and I hope that continues in 2023. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.